Hi there, this is Candice Creelman. Welcome back to Thunderbird Sky Reiki and Energetic Arts. And today we're going to do a video do a meditation, I should say, on something that's going to help you make decisions. I know most people on a day-to-day basis have decisions constantly they have to make, some of them minor, some of them major. And I have found that when you're able to get into a more relaxed state where you're feeling really connected to that deep inner place, the decision-making process not only is an easier process to do, but you're also able to make decisions that are coming more from an intuitive place, which I find when you're going with your kind of gut instinct, and when you're going with your intuition on things, the decisions tend to be more the right decision, so to speak. So kind of the focus of this is not only to come from that really deep connected place, but checking in on what we actually feel, because a lot of times I teach in my classes that our higher self, that higher aspect of ourselves that's fully connected, will speak to us through our emotions. So when we can feel what is the right or the, not necessarily a right or wrong answer, but it could be, this one feels better, this one maybe not so good, maybe they're really obvious, and this one feels really good, and this one feels really not good. If you're coming from that place where you really feel into what the right choice is, that your decision making tends to be a lot better, right? So to use an example from my own life to illustrate this, I was living in Toronto for a number of years, and I had to, when my mom got really sick, and I moved back to Edmonton for 6 months, and I had to make the decision whether or not I was going to go back to Toronto. And I was in my head, and I couldn't make the choice. I didn't know what to do, and so I just kind of, I think somebody showed me this. I can't remember if I came up with this on my own or somebody showed this idea to me, but through this process I'm going to take you through, I actually was able to feel into what decision was appropriate. So when I kind of focused on the idea of staying in Edmonton, I had one feeling, and when I tuned in on going back to Toronto, I had a completely different feeling. And I was able to gauge which felt right for me. And in the end, when I did make the decision to go back to Toronto, it was actually the right choice, because that's actually what led me get into, working on set, working in film. One thing led to another, and now I'm here doing all of this stuff for you. It does really make a big difference when you can feel into what feels right for you, and because you're coming from that higher place. So I found this is a really, really effective way to be able to do that. There's a couple of different things. I'm going to do one. There's two different techniques that I've learned. One where you have like an A option and a B option, or maybe more options than that. You kind of pick and choose what feels right out of those choices. And then another version of that where we just generally kind of tune in and just see what bubbles to the surface. Okay, sometimes we just need general insight and information and whatnot. So I'm going to kind of take you through both. So that's basically what we're going to talk about today. So we'll go through the A-B option meditation first. Okay, so how we're going to start is like we have been up to this point. We're going to do a nice deep breathing. By now you should be, if you're doing the practice daily or even a few times a week, you should be a little bit more, getting a little bit more into that deep breathing and actually bringing you to that relaxed space. So we're going to kind of go through that a little bit quicker so we can focus more on the decision-making aspect. So we're actually going to use an actual example. My director, Andre, who's helping me out with the shoot today, he had to make a decision a few months ago as to whether or not he was going to take some time off work and focus on a film project that we were working on together. He had to make a decision as to whether or not he was going to keep working and work on 444, or if he was going to take some time off and just focus on the filmmaking. So I'm going to guide you through the exercises if he's my client, so to speak. So we have something concrete we can work with. Okay? So again, nice long slow deep breath in and out. Breathing in, nice calm energy. Breathing out, any stress, any tension, any worries. Breathing in the calm. And breathing out anything that's not serving. Again, if you want to close your eyes, feel free to do so. So now that you're feeling a little more connected, we're going to very gently bring in whatever is this decision that you personally out there in YouTube land need to make. Right? In this case of Andre, it's do I go back to work, or do I stay working, or do I take time off work? Okay. So just kind of sit with that for a moment, just knowing what the options are, and just breathe that through. We don't want to think about it. We just want to, it's like just something that's in the room. Okay. So now we're going to focus on option A. So in the case of Andre, option A is, do I take time off of work to work on this film project? Okay? So whatever your option A is, I want you to just kind of bring that into your awareness. And just think about that for a moment. Not think about it, but just sit with it. And really bring that into your awareness. Okay? Imagine yourself actually taking that path of that, whatever that A option is for you. Right? See yourself walking down that path. In the case of Andre, it's I'm taking time off work to do work on this film project. And just notice what feelings come up. Notice what you feel about that option A and that decision you have to make. Okay? If you do have a pen and paper handy, feel free to make a little note or just mental note what comes up. What does it feel like? Does it feel really good? Does it feel positive? Or does it feel, sometimes you don't know what it doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right. Or maybe it just feels completely wrong. It can be very, very subtle difference between the two as well. Okay, so just notice what comes up. If you get any mental pictures, some people are very visual, so they might get mental pictures. You might hear words or sounds in your head. But really particularly focus on the feeling of taking that option A and seeing yourself going down that path and how that feels. And just sit with that for a moment as you're breathing. Okay, so now we're going to bring our awareness back to this kind of neutral place. And then we're going to put aside that A option, and now we're going to bring in the B option. So in the case of Andre, his other option was, do I keep working while I'm working on this film project? Okay, so same thing, that we're going to just go down that path of option B and noticing what comes up. How do you feel? Right, again, if you feel like you want to make a quick little jot of, on a piece of paper what comes up. Again, the differences can be very, very subtle between the two. Right, but just not placing any judgment on what it is you feel, just noticing what comes up. And breathing that through. Allowing yourself to just be with the feeling of going down that path. Noticing what you'd be doing, what you would be experiencing with that option B, the people that you'd be talking to, the things that you or other people would be saying. And just notice all of those things that are coming up and how it all makes you feel. Really, really feel into that option. And just breathe a little bit longer. Breathe in. Be with that feeling. Noticing all those details of what comes up when you take that option B path. Okay. Now again, gradually bring yourself back to that place of neutral, putting the A and the B option aside for a moment and just kind of just be in the middle. Now the final step is, now we're just kind of observe. I don't want you to place any judgment on either one of those processes, whether it's an A option or the B option for your decision. And if you have maybe a C or a D or an E, you can continue this meditation on with all of your other options you might have, because sometimes we have many options that we can choose from in terms of the path. So if you do want to continue on with other, going down option C and D and E, whatnot, you could actually pause the recording, continue down those paths, do exactly the same thing, and then when you're ready, you can come back to neutral, putting all of those aside. Okay? Once you're back to neutral, now just allowing yourself to kind of sit with those options, right? which one felt better, right? It might be really obvious where one feels really, really good and feels really right, and you just go, yeah, that's the one, and one just feels, ugh, oh, I don't like the feel of that. Or it might be really subtle, right? So when I was making that decision as to whether or not I was going to go back to Toronto, it was one of those kind of subtle moments. Neither one of them were particularly bad, none of them were particularly good. It was just a decision that I made, oh, this one feels right. So when I tuned in on staying in Edmonton at the time, it felt like, I'd be content. I'd be, it wouldn't be a horrible thing. I'd be content. Okay, content is okay, right? When I tuned in on going back to Toronto, I just got big question mark. It was sort of like, ooh, unknown. I don't know where things are going to go. I don't know where things are going to happen. That could be a good thing. That could be a bad thing, depending on your perspective. From the feeling that I had was the unknown. It was the adventure. There was something about that unknown that I felt like I needed to explore. So to me, that felt completely like the right path to take. And consequently, I found out later on, once I did move back a couple months later, that it was the right choice because it led me on down this filmmaking path, which I wouldn't trade for anything in the world. So, but maybe if you're somebody else, that content path would be the better choice. Okay, so it really is a matter of perspective and what your priorities are and what just sits better with you, right? I'm kind of the adventurer, so I tend to opt for that side of things because I want to learn more and I want to grow in these different ways. So, but again, it can be very subtle. They could be equal choices, just one feels more right, for where you're at that particular moment. So just, allowing yourself to feel the feelings of taking those paths makes a huge difference because it's amazing. Our subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what we're imagining and what's actually real. So as we visualize going down each of these paths, our subconscious mind goes, we're actually experiencing this. So we're able to tap in at a deeper level because we're in that more relaxed, connected space, and our subconscious doesn't understand that we're not physically going through this process. We can actually get a more clear, intuitive answer on what the right path actually is for us individually. And again, it's all a matter of perspective. Okay, so now we're going to put that meditation aside. The next one we're going to go into is, you can use it for a few different you can use this in a few different ways. So you can use this if you're just wanting to kind of get information, if you're wanting to get clarity on a situation. One of the things will be really helpful with this particular meditation is to have a pen and a piece of paper beside you so you can make a few quick notes, because this one you're going to be kind of getting more general information. And I find especially with these deeper meditations, once you really get good at going in really deep, you may not remember what comes up when you come back into your physical surroundings and whatnot. So it is a good idea to make a few notes. Don't let it become distracting though. So just write, if you can, just like one little word, something that represents whatever it is that comes up. Write down, anything and everything, even if it doesn't make any sense. Because sometimes you might just get colors, you might get shapes, you might get sounds, things that really don't have anything concrete. But once you kind of put the whole picture together, it might start to make sense over time. So if you want to pause to go get a piece of paper and a pen, feel free to do so right now. And otherwise, we're going to just jump into it. So, again, long, slow, deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, and letting go all your stress, all your tension, all your concerns. Another deep breath in and out, letting all that stuff go. And one more breath in and out. Okay, so allow yourself to just become aware and just bring into your conscious mind whatever situation, whatever your decision is, or just whatever it is that's going on that you have concerns around, that you're wanting to get some insight on. Just bring that into your mind right now and just sit with it. Don't think about it, just be with it. Just kind of, it's just something that's in the room. Okay, continuing to breathe. Okay, and just what we're going to do now is just have the intent, the focus that you're going to allow your subconscious mind to bring up to the surface whatever insight it is that's appropriate around this particular situation that you're in. Okay? It might come up in various different ways. You might see colors. If you're visual, you might see visual images in your mind. You might have a feeling, you might have a smell, you might have a taste, you might have sound. Just notice whatever bubbles and percolates to the top, right? And just allow it to come to the surface. Right? If you feel like you need to make a note, just make a quick little jot down of whatever's coming up. But just be with that, whatever that is. And just keeping yourself in that really nice, calm, centered space as you're allowing these things to percolate to the surface. Continuing to breathe. If it helps, you can focus on, maybe put your hand on your belly. Sometimes it helps to keep you centered and grounded. And just let your intuition, let your imagination kind of guide you through this process. It's amazing how your subconscious, when you're imagining things, how real they actually can be. So just allow your imagination to take over. And just be with that situation. Remembering to breathe. Breathing in the calm, breathing out anything that's not serving you. Allowing all of that stuff, that new information, that new insight to just bubble and percolate to the surface. It may not happen right off the bat. This is a process that tends to take a little bit of practice. You may not get it right in the first try, and that's totally okay. But again, just like with the deep breathing, the more you practice this, the easier it gets, okay? But it also as well with the A and B decision process, always use your emotions, always use your feeling as a guide point. Tune into your feelings. And that usually helps to give you a little bit of a better, clearer read on the situation. Breathing deeply. Now at this point, if you still feel like you need some more time, you can pause the video and just keep going. Maybe if you want to put some music on in the background. Once you pause, just to kind of keep you in that space, but you can keep going as long as you choose. And when you feel like you're complete with that, you can hit play again. And then we'll continue. So once you've come to that place where you feel like you're complete with that process for the time being, again, deep breathe yourself back into the physical room. One deep breath. And you're noticing back in your body, you're noticing the physical space around you. Maybe start to stretch a little, right? Coming back from that relaxed place. Another deep breath in and out. A little more back into your physical body. One final deep breath in and out. And now you're back in the room, having hopefully had some insight to your situation that you're in. And just, open your eyes when you're ready. And how do you feel? Hopefully a little bit better. And again, if you need to do it again, do it more times, feel free to do so. You can do this at any time. It's a wonderful way to help kind of get a little bit of a, sense of what's going on in your particular situation. I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you in the next video.